everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited. These are like my favorite kind of videos to watch every year, and it's the 2016 roundups of my favorite products of the year. I went through my whole collection and kind of took a look at in the last year, what have I really been loving, what have I been using consistently, and it's not necessarily products that came out in 2016, but products I was really using in 2016. So I hope you guys are interested in that. Stay tuned if you are. We're going to get right into it. So the first product, the first product I'm going to talk about is this like awesome shirt that I'm wearing that like makes me feel like I have wings or like I'm like a bat. I was a bat for Halloween for one of my costumes. Yes, I do multiple Halloween costumes because I love Halloween. And like this like shirt would have been awesome. I didn't even think about it at the time. Anyways, this is definitely a favorite. I also am finally into chokers. I know that is a very 2016 trend that I'm sure will end like in a couple months, but I'm really into it. I got on the bandwagon late, but I like it. It does kind of make me look like I have no neck, but I don't know. I'm willing to get over that because I think they're really cool looking. So the first couple products I'm going to mention aren't necessarily makeup products, but very makeup related. So the first one is this color switch. I don't even know what it's called. Color switch, whatever. It's by a company called Vera. I originally bought this off Amazon when it first came out, but I know they carry a version. I'm not sure if it's this exact one, but on Sephora.com now. Anyways, it's this cool tin and it's got this weird material inside. It feels just like, you know when people were making those nice little buns, so you'd have the ponytail, you'd put that thing in and then do your hair around it to make that bun, if that makes any sense. And it's like, it's that same kind of material. I have heard people say that they just like buy one of those from like the dollar store for a couple bucks and use those in the same way you can use this, but I don't know. I bought this and I really love it. So it's basically a product where you can take your makeup brush, dip it into one color, use it, swipe it across this or across here a few times, and then you are perfectly fine to go back into another color with the same brush and it's not going to be dirty or muddy looking. So it's basically like a really quick makeup brush cleaner, which I find so helpful. Like there are so many times where I want to go in with the same brush, or I don't necessarily wash my brushes every day. So this is just a great product to use, clean it off, and like, I don't know what I did before this, honestly. I think these are fantastic. They're like 20, I think it was 20, 25 bucks. I'm sure there's cheaper versions out there, or you could do the like the ponytail thing version. These are super cool though. So I found this in 2016 and definitely one of my favorites. And the other product I'm going to talk about is the Beauty Blender. Like, sorry, mine is dirty. I washed it and then I had to use it to put my makeup on today, so it's all dirty now. So sorry about that. If you are not using a beauty blender to do your makeup, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You gotta try it. So these are a little bit pricey. I want to say they're $26 Canadian, somewhere around that line. So it took me a long time before I finally invested in one, because I was like, you know what, I bet you they're like the same kind of sponge that you get at Walmart for $2. Like, what can be so different about a sponge? But, oh my god, it's so good. So I use these every single day that I do my makeup. I use the larger end to blend my foundation in. I use the smaller end to blend my concealer in. If I'm doing cream contour, I use this. I use the mini beauty blender to do my blend in my nose contour. If I'm going to do any kind of like liquid blush or liquid highlighter, this is what I use to put on. Like, it's just fantastic. It just makes everything go on so seamlessly, so nice. You never have to worry about streakiness or brush strokes on your face. Like, these are absolutely unreal. This is probably, I mean, I've been using these for a couple of years now, but this would still be one of the top beauty products of 2016 in my opinion. Like, they're just hands down so worth the money. So this is my kind of secret to not having chapped lips. So a few years ago, I like couldn't even wear lipstick because my lips were so dry all the time. They were so dry, so chapped. They were always splitting. Like, they just looked awful. And like, I would just wear lip gloss or nothing because I was like, lipstick looks awful. It just like exaggerates how dry my lips are. And then I ended up buying this. So this is the Bite Agave Lip Mask. I want to say this is $25 to $29-ish. I got it at Sephora, and this is the original version. I know they've come out with a few more versions that have like a colored tint to them, but I stick with the original, and this is absolutely the key to having moisturized, nice lips. So if you look on the reviews at Sephora.com, it gets like mixed reviews, and I can understand why. I think some people think this is like, you know, a lip chap or a lip balm or something like that that you can wear during the day and whatever, but it's really not meant to be that. It's meant to be a lip mask. So I put this on every night before I go to bed, and I haven't had an issue with dry lips since. I've been using this for probably almost 3 years now. And if I run out of it, I will try to like live without it for a couple weeks, and I'll already feel like my lips starting to get dry again, so I have to go out and buy it right away. But it's basically this really thick lip balm that you put on. It's so thick, but I think that's exactly what makes it work, because I put like a thick coat of this on before I go to bed, and then when I wake up in the morning, I can still feel like remnants of it on my lips. So I think a lot of times why lip chaps don't necessarily work is because they're too slippery. Like they end up, you know, just kind of working their way off in your mouth or around your face or off your face, and they don't really get that time they need to moisturize your lips. Whereas this stays on for so long that it really gets the job done. But at the same time, would I ever want to wear this during the day? Absolutely not. It's too thick, it's too heavy, but this is amazing for dry lips. So I don't want to spend too much time on this product because I have mentioned it in a previous video, but the Kat Von D Shade Light palette is just fantastic. It's my favorite contour palette. I feel like this was the year where it really like solidified as being my favorite contour palette. It's just great. I mean, I've hit pan on 4 of the 6 shades. I'll still probably get a couple more months use out of this before I buy a new one, and then when I buy the new one, I'll buy the one that has comes with the refillable inserts in it, and that'll just make it like even better. But yeah, I mean, the shadows are pigmented, they blend well, the colors are on point. It's just a really great contour palette. So my first foundation is, if you've watched any of my last videos, this probably won't be a surprise to you, but it's the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. I mean, it's beautiful. It's got great coverage. It looks beautiful on the skin. It lasts a long time. It's just a nice foundation. Probably my favorite foundation. But another one that I wasn't sure if I was going to love or not is the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation. So I remember when this came out, its big claim to fame was that it was really long wearing but gave really great coverage. And whenever I think of those two kind of things, I get nervous that it's going to be really heavy feeling on the skin, and I'm just not like down for that. Like that was why I didn't like the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. It was just so heavy. I remember I did have it, and I went through the whole bottle just to use it up, but like I remember coming home every day and being like, oh god, get this off of my skin, and I felt like I like washed 5 pounds of makeup off when I took it off at the end of the day, because it was so heavy and uncomfortable feeling and looked really heavy at the same time. But this doesn't do that. This does give you really great coverage and lasts a really long time. If I'm going to go in and do a 12-hour shift and I want my makeup to look good from beginning to end, this is always a really great option. The only thing to remember with this one is that it does oxidize. So if you look at the reviews online, you'll see that a lot of people kind of gave it mixed reviews, and it was because they didn't realize that it oxidized, so then they ended up going out and buying a foundation that is now too dark for them or too orange looking. So I didn't know that it oxidized before I bought it, so when I went in and just took a look at the range, I thought I would be 7.0. But I ended up buying 6.0, and once it oxidizes and all that stuff, which you'll start noticing in about 15-20 minutes, I notice it's getting a little bit darker. This is perfect for me. So keep that in mind when you're buying this foundation, but otherwise really nice foundation. I was surprised how much I loved this. And the last one is one I haven't had for a really long time. I think I've had it for maybe 2 months or so, but I find myself wanting to use it like every day, and it's the Hourglass Vanishing Stick Foundation. And I'm a little bit ticked off at this because I really didn't want to like this foundation. It's one, really pricey. It's like, I want to say $55, like in that kind of range, and you get so little product. You get 5 ounces, which is like not a lot of product at all. You will go through this really quickly. So I held off buying it for a long time, and then when Sephora did the coupons where it was $25 off a $50 purchase or whatever, I ended up buying it so I could justify it a little bit better because I got $25 off of it. But anyways, it is so full coverage, but it doesn't look like that on the skin. I don't tend to love stick foundations because I find them very like heavy looking. They've got a weird kind of oily, waxy kind of feel to them. And I just don't love them really. Like they're never something I gravitate towards. But this one I gave it a shot and I'm really happy because it is really beautiful looking on the skin and it does give that like ultra coverage. The only thing is I haven't used it that many times and I've already got a dent in it. Like I think after the second wear I looked at the container and I was like, oh, I can already tell it's like going down already. So don't expect this to last a long time, but it does look really nice on the skin. I have to say that. I do like it. I think my favorite primer of the year was kind of really unexpected. So I bought this YSL, it's the Touche Eclat Blur Primer. I bought it honest to God because it was so beautiful looking. It comes in this like beautiful glass and gold bottle, and the product itself is really beautiful. It's like this gel, but it's got all these beautiful little flecks of gold glitter in there, and I was like, oh my god, that's too nice. Like, and I literally was just displaying it on my vanity for like probably a couple months before I even tried it because it was so nice I didn't want to use it. So I ended up giving it a try though, and it's a really great primer. It's one that every day I'm like, oh, I want to use that. Like, you know, I really like how that makes my foundation look. And the reason it's so great is because it's like this awesome gel consistency. So it really does just smooth your whole face. So your foundation is going onto this like ultra smooth surface, which makes it just go on very nicely. It also does a great job at minimizing pores. And like, I was worried that I would see these little flecks of glitter in it all over my face. I don't see them. I don't know what happens to them, but if that's a concern for you, don't worry about it. You don't see it. And this is just a really great primer. Pricey, but I would say it's worth it. It really was a surprise for me this year. Now, if you're in the market for an affordable, great loose setting powder, try the RCMA No Color Powder. This was something that like took the beauty community by storm, I think early last, or maybe in the spring or sometime around that. I remember it took me a long time to get my hands on it because it was constantly sold out. I bought this from beautylish.com. I think it cost me like $12 Canadian or something like this for this 3-ounce container. Like, you can't get any more affordable than that. And I was worried that it was so white that like it would give me like some color transfer and I'd end up looking like that ghostly color, but it really does not make you look any whiter in photos even, or on the daily. Oh my gosh. I'll talk about this problem in a sec. Anyways, I use this to bake my concealer and it's a really beautiful powder. I think it's a great dupe for the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. They're different in colors, but both are not really supposed to give you any kind of a color change on your face. So I think this is the fantastic powder, and this is probably a third, if not a fourth of the price of the Laura Mercier one, and it's really great. Now the only thing is that the packaging is like idiotic. Like, there's no other way to say it. It's like, it comes in like a pepper shaker bottle. Like, it's crazy. So like, you lift the lid off and like that whole time I was just talking there was like powder flying all over the place. It's all over my like black shirt. It's all over my hands. So like, you're trying to use your product. Like, how are you supposed to use this product? I like try to dip in here and use it, like put my brush on the top, but then you've got powder falling out the sides. Like, it's a disaster. I really hope they like change the packaging for this because it's a really great product, but it is such a pain to actually use. I'm really excited to like finish one of my other loose powders, and I think I'll pour this into another, like maybe just like a jar with a sifter, something like that. Something that makes this a little more easier to use, but it is an actually really great product. So this was definitely the year of highlighters. 8,000 highlighters came out and I tried a lot of them because I love highlighting. It's so much fun. But I went back to ultimately my two favorite highlighters are what I use the most. It's the BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfectors. I just think they're the most beautiful. They've got the greatest color payoff. They look beautiful on the skin. There's no glitter, no like chalkiness to them. And you know, my two favorite are Champagne Pop, really beautiful. And then Opal is like my number one, like ride or die highlighter. Oh, it's so beautiful. These are great. And then the other one, when I was looking for like a more gold highlight, especially in the summertime when I'm a little darker, I'll go for a gold highlight versus either one of those. I was really into the Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Duo. This gold shade right here. Now it's so funny because these came in two different shades. There's like this gold one and then there's like a pinky silvery kind of one. I got this one and I've never touched this bronzer. I mean, I think it's a bronzer, but it's so reddy orange. Like I've never even used it. I have no interest, but I love the highlighter. Like the highlighter's really pretty. I know recently they finally put the highlighters that are in these two duos in singles so that you can just get the whole pan of highlighter, which is like a really awesome idea because like the bronzers in these were a dud, but the highlighters were amazing. So we'll talk about eyeshadow palettes next. So this was a great year for eyeshadow palettes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 to 5, I guess. Some of them are singles or what I'm talking about. So anyways, I mean, this is on everybody's list this year. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. It's a beautiful must-have palette. Like, look at the shades in this. This was really unique when it came out. There weren't a lot of these pinky, orangey, really warm tone palettes. And there have been so many people that have come out with palettes after this one came out that are very similar to this because this was so successful. It was a really unique palette, which is awesome when you're constantly like seeing like these typical more neutral palettes, a smoky palette. It was nice to see something a little bit different. And again, with every Anastasia palette I feel like that comes out, the consistency of the eyeshadows gets better each time. Like it's unbelievable how smooth the shimmers are, and then the mattes are amazing. And she was so smart to put all these different transition shades. There's like 5 transition shades in this palette, which is so nice. I will actually, if I'm using another palette and I need some like nice transition shades or something for the like deeper for the crease, I'll reach for this palette and bring it in. It's just great. Another one which is a little bit like surprising, and I was like, wow, you know what? I gotta put this on the list. So the first high-end palette I ever bought was the Urban Decay Naked palette. And like this is probably, oh my god, at least 4 years old. I mean, I probably shouldn't be using it, but you know, I don't know, it's fine, doesn't smell funny. But I reach for this palette probably like once every week or once every 2 weeks, which is crazy when you're talking about like, you know, of all the palettes I have, I'm still reaching for that like first original palette that I ever bought. And it's because it's amazing. Like it's got such good shadows in this that I don't have in any other palette. Like even today's look is what I used. I used Buck for my transition, Half Baked, which is like this absolutely beautiful gold color. When I'm looking for like a gold shadow, a lot of times I will think of this palette and go in and use Half Baked. Like Sidecar is really beautiful, Smog is really beautiful. Like there's just full of beautiful shades in this palette. I mean, I've hit pan on like a couple of them, so I don't know how much longer I'll have this palette for, but you know what? If you are a beginner in makeup and you're looking for your first kind of big eyeshadow palette, get the Urban Decay Naked palette. It's so great. Then the next product on the list are these Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadows. So I have them all, or I have them in a Z palette. So it's not all of these. It's basically like this kind of section of the palette. Like these are a great affordable option if you're looking for really pigmented, nice eyeshadows. You know, they've got great color, they've got great staying power, they don't crease, and they're affordable. I think they might be $7 or $8 a pan, which really isn't bad when you're thinking about how long you're gonna have them for. And then again, when you're buying singles, you get to buy exactly what colors you want. So you're not having any of these filler colors like you get in a palette sometimes. And I'm really, even though I'm just mentioning the gold or the foiled eyeshadows, all of the Makeup Geek shadows are amazing. I think most of this palette is Makeup Geek actually when I think about it. Like, you know, the duochrome shadows I have, they're awesome. I've got like the regular eyeshadows, the mattes are really beautiful. I really love Makeup Geek as a company. I've been watching Marlena for years, and I'm so happy that she was able to make Makeup Geek what it is and be so successful. And I like supporting a brand like that where I know that the CEO is actually a really great person and this is genuine, like genuinely her passion. She took a chance, she risked everything, and I'm glad it's paying off for her. And the last eyeshadows that I'm going to mention, I gotta mention these, are my Natash Denona Eyeshadows. They're so expensive, but you know what? They were an investment piece that I'm so glad that I got because they're just beautiful. I mean, there's like no comparison when you're talking about like high pigment eyeshadow colors. There's some really unique shades in both of these palettes that I just don't have anything else like it. Like some of these purples in the blue purple palette, like I don't have anything like that. Some of these light blues too. Like they're just beautiful eyeshadows. Oh, I just love them so much, but they're so expensive. Oh, it's such like a catch-22. Okay, so the final kind of category is lip products. So I already talked about my lip mask. I probably could have included it in this section, but I kind of got, I don't know. I saw it in front of me and I went for it. My favorite lip gloss of this year is definitely the Dior Lip Maximizer. I love this. It's a pricey little guy. I think it's like $45 or so, but it's so worth it. I remember I was running out of it earlier this year and I actually took it out of my bag and put it away and was like, no, you can't go through it all yet. I'm not ready for it. And then I was like, oh, I really want to use it again. So I pulled it out a little while ago and I've started using it again. And it's just a really beautiful gloss if you're looking for something that's just really shiny but doesn't have a lot of color to it. I don't always want a really colored lip gloss. Sometimes I'm really just looking for shine, especially if I'm not really wearing any makeup. Like I don't like that look where I've got like, you know, colors on my lips, but I don't have anything else on. It looks strange to me. This is so beautiful and it's also so comfortable on the lips. It's not sticky. It's like, it's just so nice feeling. And then this is one of those lip glosses that is supposed to be like a lip plumper. And I've tried quite a few of those and I never ever find that I get like any results from them. There's been a few times where I'm like, I think my lips might look better, like might look bigger. Like, I don't know. And it's always when I'm wearing this. So I think this might work a little bit. And for that reason, this is an awesome lip gloss that I highly recommend. These are a little bit like surprising for me. I don't typically go for like lightish kind of sheer lipsticks, but these Marc Jacob, they're called the New Nudes lipsticks, are really beautiful. So the first one I got was called Role Play, and I'll show it to you. I actually am going to run out of it soon, and this is it. That's all that's left in it. And I will swatch it here, and I'll swatch the other one. The other one I don't know how to pronounce because it has a weird name. It's like Anas or something like that. A-N-A-I-S. So that one is Role Play there, and that's Anas. Sorry, I have swatches from earlier in this video. Anyways, I like these because they are like a perfect combination of like a sheer kind of lipstick, but they've got some good color to them, really comfortable on the lips. These are perfect to wear to work for me because I work as a nurse, so sometimes I find myself having to like tone it back. Like, you know, you're going to work here, you're not going out on Saturday night, so like, you know, I love big lashes and I love strong highlights. So sometimes I'll pair, you know, those looks with these lipsticks and it really kind of tones it down and just is like a really beautiful, natural, easy to wear lipstick. So I have a couple more lip products I wanted to put on the list. So even though I only got these two fairly recently, I've been like obsessed with them ever since I got them. So these are the NARS Velvet Lip Glides. They've got quite a nice range. They probably have like 10 to 15 shades in the line. I have Bound, which is like a really nice pinky neutral color, and I have Mineshaft, which is like a really bright reddy orange. Whenever I get reds, I gravitate more towards like the orangey reds than the blue reds. I don't know why, but it's an awesome color on. see if I can swatch these. It's so funny because I find that it looks different on my lips than when I swatch it here. At least mine shaft does. So obviously that pinky one is Bound and the other one is Mine Shaft. These are great because I remember when these came out, everybody thought they were a liquid lipstick. It was like NARS's liquid lipstick, but they're really like a liquid lipstick that doesn't dry. So they've got great pigmentation, but they don't ever dry on your lips. You have like a nice shine that does kind of eventually fade, but they're really comfortable. So they've got great pigmentation to them, but they're super comfortable on the lips. They, just like the name says, they've got this like velvety glide to them. They're really comfortable on your lips. You know when you get some lip glosses that are really pigmented, that you get that like sticky, like when you look this, you get like that sticky, gross feeling on your lips. These are not like that at all. They're really smooth, really comfortable, and I'm really interested to get a couple of the darker shades and see how I like those, because they've got some really unique darker shades in this line. And then I just have two other lipsticks that I've been really into. First is like kind of an oldie, but like a goodie, and it's MAC's Lady Danger. So this, again, I really like orangey red lipsticks, so this is a great one. This is one of the matte lipsticks from MAC, which some people find these too drying, but they're not as drying as the retro mattes, but I don't find them too drying. Like sometimes when I'm wearing a color like this and I don't want to fuss too much with it, I don't want to worry about it going outside of my lips or getting onto my teeth, this is a great option. And then the other one I bought is from the NARS Audacious line, and this is Deborah, and I love this one. Let me swatch this. It's just like such a unique, beautiful, like reddy brown shade. It's got great pigment, but it's so comfortable on the lips. They're so creamy, but I also don't feel like they're like traveling all over my face when I wear it. And it's just so unique of a color. I'm really into it. I always get compliments when I wear that lipstick, and on top of it, it like makes your teeth look really white. So like that's a great bonus. So whenever you get some good stuff, you always get some bad stuff. So I just kind of picked a few things that really, I thought, did not work out for me well in 2016. A couple products here. So the first ones I'm going to start out with are like, might be surprising to some people. They're the Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks. So I was so excited to try these because a little while ago these were all over Instagram, but they're kind of one of those indie brands that like can be hard to get your hands on if you're not in the United States, because usually the shipping to Canada can be like, you know, make it not worth the purchase. But anyway, so I finally broke down and bought two of these, and while the colors are really pretty, I have Truffle and Bury Me. They're so drying on the lips. Like, they are the driest liquid lipstick I have ever tried. Like, I really tried to I really tried to give them a chance, and I'm not somebody who has dry lips to start out with, so for these to be so drying on me, like, and it's not only do they feel really like dry and uncomfortable, they look it too. Like you can see every line in your lip, and after a couple hours they're already starting to do that like awful like crumble off. Oh, it's just, these did not work out for me, which is too bad because they've got some really beautiful shades in the line. The next thing is this Duo Lash Glue. So I used to use this back in the day, but for a long time I had lash extensions. Probably for about at least a year and a half I had lash extensions. I ended up moving. I decided I didn't want to like find somebody down here to put them on, so I took them off and I'm back with false eyelashes. And I had this awesome glue. It was this Revlon lash glue. That was perfect. It had like this nice brush tip applicator. It made it so easy. It was just like amazing. And then I ran out of it. I can't find it anywhere. I've checked Walmart and Shoppers and Lawton's. I think it must have gotten discontinued, but like I can't find it. So then I was like, oh God, I gotta go back to like Duo. So I had an old tube that like, I don't think was that old. Like I looked on the bottle. I think they're good for, why do I want to say like 24 months or something like that? Anyways, it wasn't that old, and I went to use it and I was like, ew, this smells like bad. This smells like fishy, which is like bad, but I was desperate that day. I didn't have anything else. So I like took the chance and used it, and oh god, it was just awful. Like I could smell that smell. It was burning my eyes, and anyways, I chucked it out. I was like, okay, that was a bad call. It obviously must have been bad. I'll go buy a new bottle. So I bought a new bottle a little while ago and smelled it, and I like remember Duo Lash Glue smelling bad, but I couldn't remember exactly what the smell was, but it's like fishy again. Like I don't think it smells as bad as the other one did. The other one must have been expired, but oh, like the smell to this is so bad. I also like really miss having like a brush applicator, and I just don't find it works as well as that Revlon one. And the Revlon one was so cheap. It lasted me so long, and I miss it. So now I'm on the hunt for a new eyelash glue. Hopefully I can come across one soon that like will live up to the Revlon one. And the last product is going to be, maybe, I don't know if this will be shocking to some, but the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. So this exploded on the, you know, in the beauty community once everybody heard that Kim Kardashian had said she'd been using this and loved this as a setting mist. So everybody was trying it out. They actually brought the line to Sephora. So that was how I finally got my hands on it. I couldn't decide, like it's very pricey. This is a $70-something setting mist. And I love my Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray. So I was like, oh, do I really want to try something different? Anyways, I ended up trying it, and it just makes my skin so oily so quickly. Like I get like maybe a half hour where it looks really nice, and then it's just like oily and it looks awful. Like I remember one day wearing it and looking in the mirror a couple hours later and be like, oh my god, I can't believe I've been like walking around like this. Like I look like a friggin' grease pan. So I had bought this in the summer, so I was using it in the summer, and I thought maybe it's just like, maybe I have to wait till winter time where like the climate's drier, my skin's drier. Maybe this will work a little better for me. What I should have done is just returned it then, but now it's been too long and I gotta keep it. And you know, I've used it in a few times in the winter time so far, and like I get maybe a little more wear time out of it before it makes me oily, but still, like once again, I get very oily with this. I can only really see this working for people with really, really dry skin, but I have totally normal skin and this does not work for me at all, which is really too bad. So that is it. That is a roundup of all the great products from 2016 and a couple not so great products. I hope you guys like this video. Like, subscribe, comment down below. What are some of your best products from 2016? I want to know so I can get some good ideas for some more products to check out. I hope you guys had a great 2016, and I hope 2017 is off to a great start. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!